Orlando has more than 100 neighborhoods, and I'm not exaggerating. From master plan communities out by the theme parks to Brick Street historic districts that are 100 years old. There are honestly so many distinct places to live here that most people moving in from out of state get completely overwhelmed by. They land at the airport, they drive around for a weekend, and they leave more confused than when they showed up. So here's what I do. I ask myself a simple question. If I were moving to Orlando in 2026, today, with everything that I know, where would I actually buy? Not where I'd send a tourist. Where would I live? I narrowed it down to 5 neighborhoods, and I'm counting them down up to number 1. So stick around, because number 1 is one I'd write an offer on this week. Number 5 is Dr. Phillips, and if you love food, this might secretly be your number 1. Here's the facts. Dr. Phillips is home to Restaurant Row, a stretch of West Sand Lake Road with dozens of restaurants packed into about a mile. Christine's, Eddie V's, The Capitol Grill, Season 52, Ocean Prime, Domu for Ramen, and the newest spot like Sal's Pizza Bar that opened in 2024. And here's my take. I have never once run out of places to eat in Dr. Phillips. If your idea for a good life is, I want to try a new restaurant every weekend without driving 30 minutes, this is your spot. Now onto price. Dr. Phillips runs a median around $730,000 as of early 2026, with a typical range from the mid 400Ks, all the way past $6 million for Bay Hill lakefront estates. Price per square foot lands around $331 per foot. So this is a premium pick, but there's a real range inside it. You can get a townhome in the 400s or a gated executive home in the 700s. Compare that to the Orlando Metro median of about 410, and you can see you're paying up for the address. Lifestyle and who it's for. This is a golf and lakes country. Arnold Palmer Bay Hill Club is here. They host the Arnold Palmer Invitational every March. And Dr. P. Phillips Community Park gives you 43 acres with the dog park and a splash pond. Schools are a big draw. Dr. Phillips Elementary is an A school that rates 9 out of 10 on great schools. Southwest Middle is an A, and it's genuinely family friendly and safe. Commute's about 12 miles to downtown, 15 to 20 minutes when traffic cooperates, and you're 10 minutes away from Universal and 20 minutes away from Disney, which matters if anyone in your family works in hospitality. Now, the honest trade-offs, because I'm not gonna sell you on a postcard. Sand Lake Road traffic is real, especially at dinner time. And outside that, Restaurant Row Pocket, which scores a 75 on walk score, genuinely walkable. And the rest of Dr. Phillips is car dependent. You're driving everywhere. Some addresses literally score a 0 on walkability, and places have softened about 11% year over year, with homes sitting around 97 days, which honestly is good news if you're the buyer. My take, Dr. Phillips is for the family that prioritizes food, schools, and theme park proximity over walking out the front door to a main street. Quick pause. If this is helping you make sense of Orlando, do me a favor and hit the subscribe, because I put out these neighborhood breakdowns all the time, and I don't want you to make a 6-figure decision off of a weekend visit. And if you're already thinking, okay, Gianni, I need to talk to an actual human about this, my info's in the description. Feel free to reach out. That's literally my job. I'll even send you my free Orlando relocation guide. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is one most out-of-towners have never heard of, and that's exactly why I love it. The Conway chain of lakes, including the little city of Belle Isle. Here's the fact. This is roughly 1,800 acres of interconnected, spring-fed lakes, some of the cleanest water in Central Florida, with the famous sandbar where everybody pulls their boats up to on the weekend. And it's only about 4 miles away from downtown. My take, this is the closest thing Orlando has to lake life meeting city life. You can be tubing on the water at 2 p.m. and at downtown for dinner at 7. Now pricing, and you have to be careful here, so let me be straight with you. Belle Isle's median popped up to around $693,000 in early 2026, but that's off a tiny number of sales, so it bounced around. A more honest typical number is in the high 500s to about $610,000. Price per square feet is roughly around $262 to $289. And if you want true lakefront with your own dock, you're looking at about $850,000 up to $2 million. Now, you'll see the broader Conway zip code showing lower medians down around 375 to 440 range. But heads up, that includes condos and homes that aren't on the water, which is exactly why working with someone who knows these specific streets matters. Food and things to do. You've got the Hourglass District right next door, which has quietly become the real foodie zone. Pizza Bruno, Hourglass Brewing, F&D Wood-Fired Italian Kitchen, Foxtail Coffee, plus Conway classics like Charlie's Gourmet Pastries and Clement's Produce. For the outdoors, Barber Park with the dog park and splash pond, Fort Gateland Recreation Complex, and public boat ramps right on Lake Conway. Schools are strong. You're largely zoned for Boone High, an A-rated school, and Pershing is a solid K-8. Crime here is right on par with the national average. It's a safe, established family and boating neighborhood. You're also 10 minutes away from the airport, which is a huge bonus. Honest trade-offs. Conway is extremely car dependent. There's no charming walkable main street inside the neighborhood. The restaurant corridors on Curry Ford and Conway are a bit chain heavy until you get into the Hourglass District. And inventory is genuinely tight, so a good lakefront home gets scooped up really fast. One thing actively changing the area, Aviton Lake Conway, a 346 unit luxury apartment community, opened and started leasing in 2025. And there's a townhouse project proposed nearby buy as of August 2025. My take, Conway is for the buyer who wants water, space, and short downtown commute, and doesn't need to walk to brunch. Number 3 is College Park, and this is where walkability really enters the picture. The fact, College Park is built around Edgewater Drive, a genuine main street lined with local-owned shops and restaurants. The tap room at the historic Dubs Red Golf Course, Shaker's American Cafe for brunch, Tonatori's for Italian, Infusion Tea, Bee Greased Wine, Ollie's Public House, and it's less than 2 miles from downtown in a 5 to 10 minute drive. My take, College Park nails the small town inside the city, feeling better than almost anywhere in Orlando. You can live in a 1940s bungalow under oak trees and still walk to dinner and a wine bar. Pricing. The median runs around $580,000 to $617,000 depending on the source, but the price per square foot around $364, which tells you you're paying for location and charm, not square footage. The range is wide. Starter bungalows in the high 300s up to lakefront estates on Lake Adair and Lake Ivanhoe at $1.5 to $3 million. Things to do and schools. You got Dubs Red Golf Course from 1924, Lake Ivanhoe and Lake Adair for kayaking and paddleboarding, and Orlando Urban Trail and the annual College Park Jazz Fest. Princeton Elementary is an A- and a real draw. Edgewater High is a B+, and here's the big momentum story. The Packing District, a $700 million, 202-acre redevelopment is being built right next door. It's already delivering Grove Park, a 66-acre park, and the new Orlando Tennis Center, a YMCA, a Publix, a food hall, and a climbing gym that's hosting the 2026 Climbing National Championship. Honest trade-offs. College Park Middle is the weak link in the school chain. A lot of families go private or magnet for those middle years. Some residents have flagged petty crime creeping in, and the homes are old. So you're buying character along with the older roof and plumbing. Budget for that. My take. College Park is for the buyer who wants walkability, historic, close in Orlando, and is okay trading off a bigger, newer house for location and soul. Number 2 is Winter Park, and honestly, on pure lifestyle, a lot of people would put it at number 1. Here's the facts. Park Avenue is the most genuinely walkable, beautiful main street in the entire metro. Walk scores up to 89 to 96 range. Walker's paradise territory. With brick streets, boutiques, sidewalk dining, and the Morse Museum with the world's best Tiffany glass collection, Rollins College, Central Park, and the scenic boat tour that's been running since 1938. My take, Winter Park feels like a wealthy little European town dropped into the middle of Central Florida. If you want to ditch your car and walk everywhere, this is the place. Now the price reality, because Winter Park is expensive. The overall median is around $619,000, but the prestigious core zip code of 32789 near Park Avenue and the lakes is a different universe. Recent sales there average about $1.46 million and $461 per foot, and nearly 40% of buyers paid cash. If you want a more attainable entry into Winter Park, the 32792 side runs a median closer to $475,000. Still a great area, just not the postcard core. Lifestyle and schools. This is for professionals, families, and retirees who want prestigious plus walkability. There's a Sunrail commute train stopped right at the Park Avenue, so you can train into downtown. Winter Park High School is an A, and the city overall is as safe as Florida state average. And right now, Park Avenue is getting an $8 million refresh. Phase 1 kicked off in January 20th, 2026, plus the Winter Park Village got a major renovation. Honest trade-offs. The price and the cash competition are brutal for financing buyers. You have to be ready to move fast. New construction is basically non-existent because the city's built out, so you're buying an older home that needs real inspection level due diligence, and the I-4 traffic can turn a 15-minute downtown drive into a 40+ at rush hour. My take, Winter Park is the dream if you can afford the core, or you're happy on the 32792 side. It's the most walkable, cultured neighborhood in Orlando, full stop. So why isn't it number 1? Because if you were moving to Orlando in 2026, I'd move to Baldwin Park. Here's why it's my number 1. It's the one neighborhood that checks every single box off at once. Walkability. New Broad Street addresses score 80 to 85. Very walkable. Water. Lake Baldwin sits right in the middle of a 2.5-mile loop you can walk the dog around. Schools, and this is the big one. Baldwin Park is zoned for Winter Park High, an A-rated school, which is the single most powerful reason families keep cycling through here. And it's 3 to 4 miles from downtown. It's about 10 minutes driving with Advent-held Winter Park and major job corridors right there. And the story behind it is what makes it special. In the mid-1990s, the city of Orlando faced the closure of a 1,100-acre naval training center. And instead of bulldozing it into another generic subdivision, the city took an unprecedented step of striving for a walkable neighborhood with a mixed-use town center. They held a national competition for the plan and developer, and the first building of Baldwin Park broke ground in 2003. Front porches, tree-lined streets, a real walkable village center with restaurants, wine bars, a Publix, and parks the whole city uses, not just residents. The Congress of New Urbanism calls it the city's most successful new urban project and one of the larger walkable infill developments in the country. My take, most new communities put walkable town center on a rendering and never deliver. Baldwin Park actually delivers it 20 years in. Food and parks. You can walk to Sato Sushi, Golden Hour Wine, and the Village Center Cafe, Blue Jacket. Parks give you 75 acres and Caddy Wall Trail connects by bike all the way up to Winter Park. There's a Lake Baldwin dog park and beach, and the community is famous for its Halloween. Orlando City Planning Director Dean Grandin, who lives there, has described Halloweens as crazy, with each house getting 100 to 200 trick-or-treaters, some of whom come from other cities inside of Orlando. Now, the honest trade-off, because number one still has them. It's a premium market. Renfid had their median around $790,000 in March 2026, and the broader 12-month median is closer to $739,000, with Zillow pegging the typical value around $756,000. You're paying roughly $353 a square foot. On top of mortgage, there's an HOA fee of $150 to $250 and a monthly CDD. That's the cost of all those parks and that town center. And because it was built starting in 2003, you won't find the 100-year-old bungalow character here. It's newer and more uniform. Some residents also note that areas immediately around Baldwin Park aren't all the same level. But here's why it's still my pick. Baldwin Park gives you Winter Park quality lifestyle and the Winter Park high school zones for roughly 70 to 80 cents on the Winter Park dollar. In a neighborhood designed from the ground up so you can actually walk to your coffee, your dinner, your lake, and your kids' park. For somebody relocating who wants the whole package without compromising, that's the one I'd buy. So there it is. If I were moving to Orlando in 2026, that's my 5, counting up from Baldwin Park at number 1. But there's the thing, the best neighborhood is the one that fits your lifestyle, your budget, and your commute. And that's a conversation, not a top 5 list. So if you want to go deeper, watch this next. I did a full deep dive tour of Baldwin Park where I walk you street by street and show you exactly what your money buys, because that's a neighborhood most of you are going to ask me about. And when you're actually ready to make the move, feel free to reach out. My contact info is in the description below, and I'll send you my free Orlando relocation guide that breaks down every one of these neighborhoods, the school zones, and what the budget is. I help people relocate here from out of state every single week, and I'd love to help you land in the right spot the first time. I'll see you in the next one.